Welcome. I'm your host, Robert Wilson, Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity. Tonight, we're talking about 7 ways why rise of sovereign liberation. Sovereign liberation energizes your frequencies of autonomous acuity and sassy tenacity with the pizzazz to understand you are talented, wise, and energized. So now the venture of you liberating you from your viewpoints, opinions, beliefs, parents, ways of life, ancestor, survival mode thinking, to awaken your audacity, autonomous audacity, to stop being a servant to your past, pleasing, people pleasing, limitations, revenge thinking, and thinking you were never good enough or you were better than somebody through your egotistical arrogance. As egotistical arrogance is a fear trying to cover up your inabilities and unsure of your indoctrinated education, your abilities, agilities, but it's actually a fear covering up. But you got this. It's a male ego noise that you're better than somebody. And when you can rise out of that male ego poise with the spirit poise, you rise to the thing. And one thing education in this world has done, the indoctrinated education, it never showed people the way to communicate with people on understanding the here and now. It stays stuck in the past. As you're a servant to your past habitual haunts that are now your current habits, opens a way for your sovereign feelings to witness and listen to being as sovereign is feeling, witnessing, and listening to being uncontrolled by outside sources. As liberation quiets your mind to effortlessly rise your mind out of your comfort zone, limitation, camouflage, insecurities, viewpoints, opinions, beliefs, parents' way of thinking and living, ancestor survival mode thinking, and third world enslaving mindsets, and our ancestors' way of living. Instantly opens 7 ways why rise of sovereign liberation. And sovereign liberation rises you out of the limitations of self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, other people's programs, psychology, because liberation quiets the mind. As you really understand, when you're trying to change your life, heal, transform, create, and forgive, you got all the mini movies of the past running at full speed, and they're controlling you. And that is something that sovereign liberation really allows you to do, is liberate internally, boldly energizing, revolutionary, animated, trend-setting ingenuity, optimizing now. Something I've opened up to today, you say self, and what do you feel? Say sovereign, what do you feel? Whatever you feel. But sovereign quiets the mind and you feel calm flow through you. When you say self, you get tense. I did anyway, I should say. As liberation, I now realize, admit, to feel, observe that I'm liberated internally. And see, you're not trying to liberate the external world. You're trying to liberate your internal world. Because I really understand, when I first got in this, I was trying to do everything all the books and magazines said, and the tapes. And all I did was massage my thinking and stay the same. And as I listened and witnessed the world, I listened for what the wisdom to expand me is, and never paying any attention to what everybody else thinks. When you're trying to think and know like somebody else, you're stuck in a follower's follies. You'll never rise. Sovereign liberation gives you the gut tenacity to rise of yourself. And something else I opened up to today, this is my new favorite little saying. Every time you make a plan, life is going to do something to get in the way of that plan. It's going to test you to see whether you want to keep going, get mad, or you want to listen to the wisdom and expand through it. Sovereign liberation allows you to have the wisdom, insight, and clarity to expand through life, to rise of your rebellious ingenuity, streaming, enterprising wizardry. Something that I really opened up to when I was trying to do all the self-help stuff and personal growth stuff, I never got to understand me. I tried to know what other people did or think like other people. All that did is make me a sheeple. So I sold the sheep. Now I'm on the range of rebellious audacity, naturally galvanizing everyday life as my liberated leisure. The word liberation rises you out of your mind and takes away all the many movies of yesterday. That's something I really opened up to is every time you're trying to move out of some place or rise out of it, and if you're trying to change it, that mini movie of that event, experience, encounter, and all the trimmings, the people, everything stays alive. And people say, go back and write forgiveness letters. I did that. That's just rerunning the same movie. But today, now I understand that person or whatever that event is out here, but all the other stuff is in here. So I liberate it from me by appreciating the event. And that's what sovereign liberation is appreciation for your talents. Every word I learned when I first got into self-help, personal growth, self-improvement, and all the psychology books are gone out of my life because all they are is showing me the limitations of socialized brainwashing. And when you follow somebody else's program, you're programmed with their limitations, viewpoints, and the way they look at life. And I got a rock I walk up to every day to really open up to do my morning inspirations. And I was sitting there looking the other day, watching people go to work at a high rate of speed. I realized the world has never got out of the male ego noise because we're always trying to be in a hurry to go nowhere. And then we're trying to be there where we don't want to be. I spent a long time doing that because, one, I never had the courage to admit I like my life. See, that comes down to a deal where you get to say, if you really open up to really not love your life, but enjoy your life, because life is like a glass of lemonade, one sweet, one sour, one's good. But it's our mind was my self-taught torment that nothing was ever good enough. That's because I never felt I was good enough. That's where my sovereign liberation, Cowboy wisdom, hypnoacuity promotes sovereign liberation, autonomous expansion, politically incorrect inspiration, dissolving politically correct perfection programming, grounded in cowboy wisdom with an F that audacity with an outlaw optimism to enjoy life. You got to have a little sass in your word because I do good today. Well, I enjoyed today because I rose out of this, or I enjoyed this because I opened up to this wisdom. It's, everybody says practice gratitude. Just practice being at peace. Peace with yourself, and then you're grateful for yourself. The gratitude is in here. Everything you want is in here. But really, when I opened up to the politically incorrect inspiration, it gives you a little dance of pizzazz. And sovereign liberation is being uncontrolled by outside sources with the tenacity and ingenuity to quiet the mind, to rise of your divine prime time prosperity, peace, and your energized wisdom. See, everything you want in life is within you. And, this world is trying to be so perfect. But here's something I really opened up to, and I've said this many times. You know, we want to have a educate. We want education, perfection programming to control an outside world that's uneducated, unrehearsed, unexplained, and unedited to move forward. So that's where the education and all the business minded mindsets have us where we're at today. We're basically we're basically on like the gerbil on the wheel. We're just going around and around and around 300 mile an hour, but we're going no place. That is something I really understand now. To go someplace and rise out of the situation, it's listening to the free flowing, enterprising energy within you. It's your intuition, imagination, innovation, inspiration that unleashes your gut gumption to understand you are sleekly, uniquely talented to rise out of everything. People are the pathway forward, as education and business all comes from a book and what somebody else wants us to know with a third world enslaving mindset. That is something. Are you open and willing to understand and witness and see how you can rise out of that third world enslaving mindset? When you open up to understand your sovereign liberation is your stalwart optimism, visionary energy, invigorating the genuine nerve within you to realize life is a liberating invitation for you to enjoy. But see, we never got to enjoy it because, when this country was young, people, and when the world before we got all the education, people had to kind of have some ingenuity to go through certain lands and do certain things. Now we're trying to do it with computers, maps, and we don't really open up to anything. We don't have to trust our ingenuity because we're going to put it in a computer or we're going to put it into AI. And there it is. It's doing all your innovation for you. So the world is stuck in the computers and education and business. How are we doing? These are just questions you have to ask yourself. But however, some of this is quite interesting, but it has nothing to do without being a pioneer on your trails of triumph because you're trying to do it and read it in a computer. If you look over the last few years, how much ingenuity has been awakened in the world? Because everybody's trying to use the AI to get rich rather than the innovation of themselves to move forward. Sovereign liberation is about understanding the liberating in the intuition within you. Boldly energize the rebellious audacity today, invigorating the optimistic nomadic nerve of yourself. So how are you afraid of yourself? It's something I really opened up to. I understand why people with a lot of education get very egotistically arrogant because it's a fear. They're afraid of what they know. They're afraid of their education may not be good enough. They're afraid some little guy that's sovereign educated may come up and make them look bad. Education can put fear into you. But getting your hands dirty in Mother Earth, it gives you the ingenuity and the gumption to look life in the eye. And that's something I even admit to myself. You get nervous about what you know and what you think you know, but you're always worried that it may not be good enough. And that's the truth. It'll never be good enough. But if you listen, attain the wisdom from the other people, you rise of your campaigner's clarity and your savant clairvoyance, you'll see your way through the world. We're going to listen our way to the promised land. But it's really about being understanding sovereign liberation makes you uncontrolled by outside sources. So you can listen internally, boldly energizing revolutionary, adventurous, trend-setting ingenuity, optimizing now. See, we smooth by living in the now, we smooth away the past. And that is something I really want to do. And we've been taught to be in our politically correct perfection programming, we've been taught to be busy and productive, making a plan, and then going with the plan. We've become rigid and never have the influence and the flexibility to realize that plan is never going to be everything that's in the event. Because when you make a plan and you make it rigid, that event, encounter, experience, it's going to bring in outside sources that make that plan feel and be that plan obsolete, because it's really about being able to make a accomplished outcome and move through life. And that's where that sovereign liberation shows up. And the more I rise the sovereign liberation and use I liberate me from me, really allows me to let go of being stuck in the yuck of myself. And that's the thing. All the stuff you're thinking in the outside world, all the pathways through it are in here. And a lot of it is in your memories. But we think the memory, we keep the person alive. So if you rise out of memory to realize that's an imprinted, liberating event, encounter, or experience in your life, gives you permission to rise out of it by questioning it and trusting your adventurous abilities, agilities, audacity to look it in the eye. We're afraid to question our life. Oh, yes, I am. I get to admit this. This is what's fun about this. I have let go of my male ego noise. And really, if you really want to know the truth about the male ego, it's stupid. And I had it big time. All the stubbornness and hard-headedness, everybody has their own version of the male ego stupidity. Men, women, because we've been taught to be rigid, revenge thinking has to be my way. This will never work because it's outside of the educational programming of our life. And then we always got that third world mindset that they snuck it in on us, really, because if you look at education, you look at the world, we still live in our ancestors' way of life in a lot of ways. Because that's what I do is I clear away everything, take the technology and the medicine out. And what's different in the world? The Shiites and Sunnis can't get along. We got Ukraine and Russia. That's been going on since the beginning of time. We still have racism and everything in this country. So we've really never been able to communicate away yesterday's dismay. And there's one thing about making a plan and being stubborn and rigid. It binds the mind in absolutes that pollute the mind in mundane BS. Stuck in yesterday's thinking and knowing. How are you stuck in yesterday's thinking and knowing? Oh, hell yes, I am. The sooner I admit it, the sooner I get rid of it, sooner it becomes an awakening to have fun and enjoy life. But sovereign liberation is really about you being uncontrolled by the outside world. But it's also about being uncontrolled by your habits, opinions, beliefs, viewpoints, and all that inner crap, your parents' way of life, the ancestors. It's about you feeling the freedom to flow of enterprising prowess. And I use the word prowess over power because it's got more audacity than power, because it gives you the power to listen and do whatever you desire to do. You are going to listen your way out of every situation. And the thing about the situation, everything if you're in a touch and go situation, the outside world is going to bring you people and events in increments to give you the wisdom to move forward. You're never going to think and know your way through chaos, adversity, challenges, and controversy, because think and know is all from yesterday, and it's all ingrained habitual way, your ingrained habits of the way you do things. See, that's why I like sovereign liberation, and that's what Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity. That's one of the first. That is the first step, not step, but the first path of enlightenment in Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity. And all hypnoacuity is hypnotherapy without all the overthinking of therapy. It's really a liberating flow of foresight with the frequencies of easy allows you to move forward in life. So how do you feel being sovereignly liberated from yesterday? How will sovereign liberation expand you and energize your inner wisdom to rise and shine of your divine daredevilry? People, you are so talented. That's something I really want people to understand. Are you open to discovering your unique talents that ballet you on to your Broadway play of health, wealth, success, and fun? I want to thank you. This is the Cowboy Wisdom Hypnoacuity podcast. And may your life be as blessed as you are a blessing to me and the world. Thank you.